Now I'm getting an upload thing. We're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Top
Hi,
Deck
everybody.
Heroes.
Welcome to Top Deck Heroes, boys and
We're
girls.
back after a 2-week hiatus. We are back and we have so much to cover. Tonight we're going to be starting our 3-part coverage on Worlds that just recently finished up.
3
So,
parts?
3-part coverage.
Oh, boy. For me, it'll be like 7.
3 parts. So this week we're going to be talking about, we're going to do part 1 of our Worlds wrap-up. We're going to get everybody's opinions of how they felt everything went, from the tournament organizer, from a player, and from a spectator at home. We're going to be talking about some spoilers that were released at the convention.
Some new cards, baby.
Mainly focusing on characters from Mega Man's 5 and 6. We're going to talk about the top 8 deck lists from singles. And we're going to do
Can I ask a question real quick? Oh, go ahead. Finish the schedule. I got a question.
Thanks. We'll also do Kevin's top 5 decks to net deck right now. And then some announcements. Go ahead, Kevin.
So how do you know which game the Mega Men are from? Like the Robot Masters, like you're just like 5 and 6, like 5 and 6.
Sean's a
How are they
genius.
from 5 and 6?
Did you play Mega Man 5 and 6?
No.
That's how I know.
You know, I guess you said, well, here's the like if the Sonic bosses had names, I could probably know what they're all from. Okay, I'll give you that. I'm sorry.
I mean, you know the Dr. Robotnik car is from Sonic 2.
Yeah.
You know Metal Sonic's from Sonic CD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, the car?
Yeah, the egg machine came down into a little car, and it drove back and forth trying to run you over very slowly.
That wasn't my Sonic 2.
Well, you played the 8-bit one. That was more difficult and more fun.
Yeah.
So, before we get into...
You guys getting hit by bosses. That's bullshit.
Yeah, you die if you get hit in Sonic 2 for the game.
One touch. Don't get hit.
So, let's get back on topic. We got a shitload of stuff to cover tonight. Let's first talk about a little bit of the news. People should be receiving their Mega Man board games if they haven't already. I know it was reported that some Kickstarter people have not received them yet, and hopefully they'll be getting them really soon. I have tracking information for mine now, so I'm really, really excited. And hopefully I will be able to play this game I've been waiting for 2 years for.
Hey man, if you want to play it right now, I got a copy that I didn't order on Kickstarter. I won it. I paid the iron price for my Mega Man the board game.
That's always a possibility. So, let's get on to our main story tonight. Worlds 2016 Wrap-Up Part 1. So, we're each going to give a brief report as to how things were from our point of view, some things we think could be better, and some things that went awesome. I'm going to go first. Woo! Okay, so this year I worked at the tournament in the capacity of the tournament organizer. So that's the person who makes the announcements, handles the scorekeeping, hands out your match slips, and all that fun stuff. Overall, things went pretty well. There were some stuff that happened behind the scenes and some stuff that happened out in front of everybody that we're working to improve for our next event. Teams went pretty much flawlessly.
Yeah, I have.
I mean, Kevin won it, so must have gone pretty flawlessly.
Hey. We're talking about tournament execution. We're not spoiling the results, Matthew. God.
You got everybody registered for the tournament on time. The matches ran pretty much on time. In the middle of round 2, we actually had to move the tournament HQ. And, I had players come up saying, weren't you guys over there before? So the fact that they didn't even notice us moving meant things went pretty well, I think.
Yeah, now that you mention that, I remember that, but yeah, I remember that being completely invisible. You guys were a bunch of smooth criminals.
Things got a little hairy during singles. One thing we knew, we'd actually released new tournament floor rules right before the team's event, and we were expecting over 100 people for singles, as teams had 99 players. And we knew that it was going to kind of stress test our system, and in some places it did fail. A major area of concern was not being able to post the pairings in a traditional way, as we did not have a printer. Our temporary solution we came up with was to post the pairings to the forums, which worked for some but not all, depending on if you had cell reception or data service at all. And then eventually we got it on the screen kind of in a way that was usable. So an area
combined with the forum pairings, I think like by the end of the day, I think that everyone was able to find their seats pretty well. I mean, as a person who was sitting, I guess, at the top table by that point of the day.
Minor comment, now that I know that that's why you did that every round. I thought you were doing it just for better coverage. I think you
Nope.
should, at majors, like Worlds and Nationals, I think you guys should do that anyways. Because that's
I
an
mean,
interesting thing for people to like that are trying to watch or follow along from home, at least through the forums or a stream if one ever gets to happen. You get to be hyped up by knowing certain matchups that are happening.
Yeah, I think overall it's a good idea, and I don't see it as an issue of, if we've got the capacity to do that quickly at that time, to do it. It was a little difficult because our current tournament software does not play well with anything except PDF, and what it spits out in a PDF is still hot garbage. And so we'll talk about tournament software here in a minute. Unfortunately, throughout the event, we did end up having to do 3 repairs, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4. One repair, the first repair was due to a player changing their match slip after they left the table. So it was reported as one result, but then by the time it got to the judges' table, the result had been changed. And so all the records are extremely important to be accurate because, somebody having a draw instead of a win can end up making or breaking their day.
Like, what do you mean by it got changed? Like,
so according to
that
the
sounds
infraction,
highly illegal.
it is highly illegal. I don't think it was malicious, but with that you can't be certain. But somehow the result got changed, and unfortunately the player was disqualified, even though they insisted that it was a mistake. One of the areas I want to improve upon that is I want to get match slips that are easier to use. Because additional repairings had to be done later on because players did not know how to fill out their match slip correctly and did not know what resulted in a win and what resulted in a loss or a draw.
Yeah, so the match slips it was basically just a sheet of paper with some stuff like saying table, like you would fill in your table number. You're actually, the player was supposed to fill in the table number, print their name, sign their initials, and then circle the players who, like, the person who won or both people if there was a draw. And so I think it's kind of clear how this can be misinterpreted, and there weren't really clear instructions on the sheet either.
Well, the instructions on the sheet were perfectly clear if you read them. But I mean, if you've ever worked with a large group of people, be it UFS players or cats or nurses or any large group of people, reading instructions thoroughly is not any group's strong suit.
Yeah, someone's just gonna read it wrong.
So you imply that cats can read instructions?
Probably about as well as UFS players.
I mean,
I'll give you that.
It's as easy to herd as well.
Yeah, managing a crowd of gamers is like herding cats. It's a very good analogy.
So that caused a repairing, and there was one repairing due to scorekeeper error. I did have a uh-oh in like round 2, which we caught right away because players are really good at paying attention if they move up or down in the seats. So we got that corrected pretty quickly.
I think it's a really interesting idea, a really interesting perspective that Matt raised of just someone sitting at home. It's really cool to see the standings every round, the pairings every round. And I think if we if the software supports this, or if just we have dedicated enough staff that are going to post each of the pairings each round online, it could be really cool if they also have the current score of the player, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and then it's impossible not to double check it when you say, hey, I have 9 points, I'm supposed to have 10. What's going on, judge? And then get that fixed up.
So we had a couple of repairings due to that, and that slowed down our tournament quite a bit because it was already running a little slow because we had to post the postings in a non-traditional way, and then having to repair typically did not affect too many people. It usually only affected folks towards the middle of the pack because the people were XOs were still XOs, people were OX were still OX, but it did jumble some people up in the middle, which did make more time happen, which slowed down the tournament, and we never want the tournament to stop.
Yeah, I can confirm. In round 2, I was gonna play Andrew Alexa, but he dodged a bullet and got out of my way. This rage quit ain't got no brakes. But after that, I didn't get repaired again. Again, top tables, whatever. Not everyone's experience, but
So things started running a little more smoothly, but we got to doing the final results, and something weird happened where the results that were entered for round 8 were not correct. Somehow, either entering the results or pairing off an 8th round when in traditional Swiss pairings it's normally 7 rounds for that number of people. We ended up having everybody who would have had a score of 15 wasn't in the tournament record.
they were just eliminated.
They were just eliminated.
Just dropped,
And
gone
so,
forever.
what we ended up doing was,
So you read off the top 16.
and some players were like, "Well, that's
We're wrong.
impossible. How could I be 4-3-1 and get in, and not my friend at 5-3?" So we tried again, and the system continued to bug out because we thought we had it right, and then a player was like, "Well, no, I can't be second place because I lost to this person, and they're X and 1." And so we knew that that was an issue still. And so, we don't want to have the wrong people in top 16. So what ended up happening was Jason, Shane, and I had isolated the issue to round 8. And we basically sat up till 2 o'clock in the morning and calculated the final standings and strength of schedule manually, which was dreadful.
Oh yeah,
But
it's a pain even when you're just doing it with like 20 players.
yeah, it was
Can't imagine with it being over 100.
horribly dreadful, but it had to be done.
Yeah.
So by 2 o'clock in the morning, we were ready for a couple of beers and for some sleep.
Yep.
So now I don't officially speak for Jasco Games, but I know some changes I'm going to make from my perspective with the 2K coming up, which I'm expecting similar turnout for. Is we're currently, Kevin and I are exploring some other pairing softwares to see if they bug out the same way that one did. We're actually testing the spoiler software out right now, and
Oh, spoils.
the
Yeah.
spoils. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually like their software quite a bit more. Their match slips are extremely intuitive. It prints your name and your table number on it, and they're very clear on what you're supposed to do.
And the interface on the judge end too is much improved. It's impossible to it's really impossible to get it wrong. Honestly, it has a lot of checks and balances to make sure that you can't click on buttons that you're not supposed to click on. There's a lot of mutually exclusive things going on.
Yeah,
and a lot
so
of things to
it's
help you run it.
I've also got a few other pieces of software I could probably test and see if they work.
Hey man,
If spoils ends up not working for some reason at that numbers.
Well, what I found, especially with spoils, because right now with the current software, like you can accidentally repair the round in the middle of the round.
So-
wow.
yeah. So let's not
Whoops,
get
my
into,
finger
let's not get
slipped.
into what's wrong. Like we'd rather let's talk about the tournament and the software some other time. But contact me if you have some software you like. Like if you run tournaments and you have software that you really like, get in touch with me, Kevin Broberg, Waffle Cupper on the forums. I'm on Facebook. I'm on the Gmail address. Get in touch with Sean, and we can see if you can be part of UFS history and be part of making tournaments better from here on out.
The last thing to report from the TO's end was Sunday we had Top Cuts. We got that up and running fairly early. Unfortunately, some of our players do like to really take their time playing their games.
So I think
Yeah.
a big part of Top Cuts was that we had 2 rounds of teams remaining, and as you say, people take their time. It's untimed rounds, and isn't an enforcement of slow play at all. And so the team tournament happened, and all 3 of the people on my team, which ended up winning, were all in Top Cuts for singles as well. And
So we couldn't move things along at all.
yeah, we got
Everything
stuck
had
on
to
the
wait for teams.
yeah we had to wait for all
Why
teams.
why'd it have to be so good, Gavin?
And then Matthew Clarkus Turner playing Clark just grabbed the tournament, and like he didn't quite suplex. He just cheated. He's heaving. He was holding it back. He waited away for him. That's mean. I'm sorry for that. But
So things
Imagine
got a little
when he
dicey
gets-
again around 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the card hall because we were told we had to leave. So fortunately,
And My fault here. I was still playing my match against Corey Hicks' Dimitri.
In the top
We
4 or
the
top 8?
round of 8. Yeah. So everyone else had finished. We had 3 semifinalists, and the 4th was being decided. But they decided they had to move. They had to take the tables away from us and pack them up.
So, fortunately, the nice people over at A Gamer's Paradise on Tropicana Avenue were able to accommodate us. It was a nice surprise for them, or not nice surprise, depending on who you asked. And we were able to complete the tournament there, which ended up running till after midnight because of Garrett's glacially slow pace of playing UFS. Like, I have seen glaciers move faster than him. I love
It was,
Garrett, but he makes slow and deliberate decisions, just like a glacier.
So slow and deliberate that they took a break for Taco Bell during the last game.
hey man, there's no slow play penalties for Taco Bell. And to be fair, I don't know if you've ever tried to play UFS for 8 consecutive hours. It is tiring work.
Yeah.
I mean, really, any kind of intellectual exercise like this, your brain uses glucose to think, so you need to refuel.
So that's really, my report. Overall, I think it went very well. I don't think, despite some of the issues we had, I think most players had a good experience. So, it tested our systems. We found some faults in the system, and I'm sure Jasco Games is working to improve those systems. So, Kevin Broberg, tell us about your experience from a player's perspective.
All right, so I play. I'm just a regular, ordinary, everyday guy. I was playing my fun my deck. I've dubbed Taste the Rainbow because it is no more than 17 of any individual type of card. It is almost equal parts attacks, actions, assets, and foundations. It has all the colors. And
You don't
yeah, I
have an
played
equal amount of character cards.
someday. I would play Hutzel with the Forester. That'd be great. But so I played that in teams and ended up going undefeated in teams. Although I got, I don't know how to present this even. The tournament was well run. I had a good time, and Sean Ryan sent me a message. Okay, so I played in teams. My team was Matthew Clarkus Turner playing a Fire Clark deck, and who was like the rock of our team in that he would grind out his opponents over a great deal of time. My extremely explosive Assets Athena deck that could win on turn 2 with a nut draw, and generally just had a whole lot. It was a deck full of nut draws. And then Devin Bernier playing his Death Psyche deck, which is like the coin, like a deck that is very good at winning when it goes first and does all kinds of crazy abusive things with these cards that no one plays. Kind of like my deck, only even less played. Only he has Navos, which everyone plays, and Up Smash. And so we played. We generally paired up Piglet we generally paired off. Piglet ended up getting paired off first most rounds, and then Devin and I would blow up our opponents in 20 minutes and go take a break with a 2-0 victory, and that kind of carried us for a while. Yeah, we opened the teams tournament 5-0, and then we lost our last round to a team that was only had one loss, so they're 5-1 as well at the end of the day. But we still got Swiss champ, which is really cool because it is also good for the player of the year standings for all 3 of us. Should we be pursuing that, such as I will be doing?
I want to talk about that a bit.
If you want
We'll
to.
talk about it later, but let's let Kevin finish.
Then we played the round of 8 of teams on Friday night before the tournament wrapped up, and we were successful in that one. We ended up being successful in the last 2 as well. The games really kind of blur together with Assets Athena because so much is going on, and I haven't reviewed my notes carefully before the show. I still have all my left pads, but I don't know how much help they will actually be. I managed to squeak out 2 victories against 2 top players playing what were pretty. It was a pretty scary matchup, I thought, against Life Dimitri, which got to play cards like Caught Red-Handed that stops half my deck. He got to flip over my staging area. He had the throws to pressure my life total, and I ended up beating I think 4 or 5 Dimitri decks in the 9 rounds of teams we played. Thanks to being able to sift through my deck for DeForesters, or for the 1 copy of Leash Shield I played in teams, and just being able to block things and then having an explosive offense. Because even though he has throws in Darkside Master, he's really not that fast compared to Athena, even with the disruption he presents. But that wound up catching up to me in singles I think beating a deck 4 times and losing to it once is a pretty okay result. In singles, I played the same deck again, but with some changes. I tried to adapt it a little bit to the Dimitri matchup because I was afraid of that, and I was really sick of the card Weight of Memory specifically. You can check out the list online. You can see how I changed them. The fundamental core of the deck is the same. I wound up getting paired with a Yuri deck in round 1, which is really exciting. And actually, the second time that exact event has happened, we're playing Estus Athena. In the twice I've played it, twice I played against Yuri round 1. The last time was at Michigan PTC, and I played against Garrett round 1 playing Yuri. And in this case, he was actually Yuri sandbagging Dimitri to diversity dodge, but he stayed as Yuri against me because he thought that just the speed of my deck would be, he'd rather have the life gain and tutoring effect. And the tutoring effect is really great. If you want to play Yuri, she's actually a good choice to beat the Estus Athena deck, because when Athena plays 2 assets, that triggers Yuri's response, so she can search her deck for Ryokan, a block, a Templar if she's got a symbol, all kinds of stuff. And throughout the Swiss rounds of singles, I ended up going undefeated there as well. I beat Garrett, the Ultimate Champion, playing Jiffany Jamber in rounds, I think in round 5. I played Chris Pratt, beat him. Jeffrey Kahn, beat him. I played I beat the Mirror. I only beat the Mirror once actually that day, but I beat William Bryan, who was actually also playing DeForester Athena, playing a bit of a different build. He was playing a lot of 3 difficulty attacks and trying to really spam out those smaller attacks and having those kind of mitigate against difficulty, which is a cool approach, and I definitely like it from having played a lot of 3 difficulty attacks in my time. But I think he said that he thinks my deck was just like better tuned in the Mirror and in general. I don't know, but and then the final round I know I played against Void Lilith piloted by AJ, and Lilith was actually one of the decks that had beaten me in teams. I played against Brandon Jones, I think, from Las Vegas, playing the Water Lilith deck that won a Pro Tour earlier this season, and he beat me in one game, and then he beat me game 1, I beat him game 2, and then in game 3 we didn't play because I was tired and my team had already lost. So I was really happy to have beaten the AJ's Lilith deck. It was a really intense, exciting match. And one of the reasons, I think this deck is my Athena deck is really, really good, but I don't think it's actually competitively unfair. I think there's a lot of decks that can be close to it, that can beat it, in a fair match, 50-50 or whatever, coin flips, especially if I get, the relatively poor draws that it can get. And then in the round of 16 in singles, after I went 8-0 with Swiss Champ, I got paired with the Infinite Loop Zoe deck and had a pretty rough match against him. Actually, against him and against Chris Pratt, who got 3rd place, I think, with Lord Raptor. And they won the die roll, and they both played Turn 1 Ever Hopeful and failed the check. So that was really that was pretty good for me. And generally, once I got a bunch of revokes in my hand, I felt like I couldn't lose to Zoe. And also, unless he had really, really good draws, he would. He was playing an Infinite Loop combo Zoe deck that requires hidden weapons or infinite weapons plus 2 copies of additional knowledge plus a multiple 2 attack. And it's just really hard for him to find those pieces before I find all of my superior techniques and all that crazy stuff. And then in the round of 8, the quarterfinals, I got paired with Corey Hicks' Dimitri, who had actually given me a loss in teams. I beat him 1-0 because he had a game loss for misregistering his deck. So he beat me in our game 1, which is sort of like game 2, and then I managed to take the match with 1 game win. After that, I think that locked us up for. I think it actually locked us up for top 4. I think his team was knocked out in top 8. So that was the last match of teams on Friday night that I beat him. And so we played again in singles, and I checked a lot of attacks, and he beat me down. That's pretty much the story. I beat him. We ended up splitting all the total of our games, 3 wins to him and 2 wins to me, and I was pretty disappointed after that loss. But I'll get him again next year, Coach. I'd actually just through a quirk of pairings, everyone in the top 4 had played me. I actually beat the champion, 3rd place and 2nd place during Swiss rounds. Rodney's Bombman deck and Chris Pratt's Lord Raptor and Garrett Pratt's Jiffany Jamber all took one of their losses in Swiss from me.
Well,
That's pretty
sometimes
cool.
that's just how the cookie crumbles. You
Yep.
get the bad pairing.
yeah,
So,
Yeah, I
Hughes,
think-
us.
Yeah.
I've said enough. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was not actually there, so I had to live vicariously through these guys and Giggles and a few other people. But it was still pretty exciting. I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't a stream for the most part. But I should have known that getting internet in a convention was going to be pretty hard, considering every other convention I've gone to, it's been pretty difficult for anyone to try and get internet.
Mhm.
But there was, I think it was originally Peter Beltram eventually put up all the rares that were being given out of all the Mega Man stuff, which that was pretty exciting. I kind of wish I had gone for that, for having that and seeing the throw it down and the play mats. So there definitely there was a bunch of awesome prize support there.
It was really good
and
for a
it's-
free tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah, the prizes were really great, to be honest.
yeah. Like everything sounded great about that. It sounds like the tournament went well. The only thing that I'm kind of about is when I heard this announcement about this Player of the Year award thing. I have a couple problems with it.
Should have gone to Vegas.
Well,
That's my best troll face.
yeah, well, one of the complaints
Should've gone to
isn't too much of a
Vegas.
complaint. It's it rewards people that can travel well, which that's the whole point of the thing. So I can't really complain about that.
Yeah, man,
But anyone who-
you gotta play the game to win the game.
Yeah, but I don't know, with how spread out some of the events are, like there are just some events some people, unless they travel to all of them, just can't make it to. Like I'm only gonna be able to make it to like 4 of these PTCs this year at best. And that's because they're all in New York. And then maybe to the Atlanta one.
Yeah,
The-
that's kind of an issue with it. It does reward people who travel the most, which
Yeah.
at the same time I think is kind of the point of it.
Yeah, but so if you have the ability to fly all over the place, you have the money for that, then you get a leg up. Because with how the point structure is, you just have to show up to more events than other people. You don't even have to win. And you're definitely going to win.
Well, winning is worth a ton of points, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just get.
But
you get a
if you
huge
break
boost.
down the math,
you
get a huge
from
boost.
winning.
I
You
mean,
also
if-
get a
but-
huge boost from showing up.
Well, like if you Swiss champion, like if you like rattle off an undefeated streak at a pro tour,
Mhm.
you know, compared to someone who like misses top, or like who actually like who limps into top cut and then loses in
Mhm.
the round of 8, you know, you get an extra 2 matches on them because you actually play semifinals and finals. You get an
Mhm.
extra 3 wins on them because plus however much you win in Swiss, you get the Swiss champ bonus and the winning bonus. So you get
Mhm.
you get
Yeah.
a huge bonus for like having a really great performance.
yeah,
Now, I'm
but
gonna stop y'all right there because
didn't
we're
bring
going
up
to
the important
discuss
part,
the
though.
Player of the Year in more detail in part 3 of our World's 2016 special.
Push it on the back burner, son.
Oh, you just don't want to
Cool-
let me
Cool
complain.
the Jets.
Well, I'm hoping
Yeah.
if I give you 2 more weeks, you'll be less salty about it.
My
Probably not.
main complaint with it, there is absolutely no reason, nothing that will stop me from being salty about it unless they change it.
Well, maybe in 3 weeks it'll change.
Yeah, okay, let's see it.
I mean,
We'll see what
Matt,
happens.
you,
No. I said part
Okay.
3.
just saying, if you haven't won Worlds yet, why do you think you're going to win it now and suddenly be in contention?
Oh,
That has nothing to do with it.
okay, moving on. Let's move on to
Okay.
to some spoilers, because I gotta
Yeah,
keep the kids behaving. So
everyone loves.
We also only have a half hour left.
we spoiled a shitload of cards at Las Vegas, and what I want to focus on tonight, we're gonna look at some of the cards that came out and put them together with some of the cards that have already been spoiled, and kind of get an idea of maybe where some of these themes of these characters may be coming from. Tonight we're going to mostly cover characters from Mega Man 5 and 6. Before people beat the internet and complain about everything, yes, I understand that Dr. Wily is in every game, but we're going to cover him tonight, okay? All right.
But I don't wanna.
Speaking of Dr. Wily, let's bring him up real quick, Hughes.
He's been up this entire time. I kind of just now realized that.
So, since if you've been watching the thing all night, then you have a really good idea of what this Dr. Wily does. He destroys Foundation, he gets bonus speed, And if a move deals damage, you get to destroy one of your opponent destroys a ready foundation, which is an extremely powerful ability because you can use it on your opponent's turn.
Well, it's extremely powerful in general. Like, it doesn't even
Yeah.
if it were only on your, like, if you could do it only on your attacks, it would still be an ability with some real potential. Because if you go first and you start hitting your opponent on 2 and they can't block, you put them back in the Stone Age while dealing damage. It's awesome.
Yeah, but I feel like this kind of ability has only been reserved to your own attacks for a while now, so
Yes.
this is kind of a
Yes.
departure
Yeah.
from recent design standards. And then the response is extremely reminiscent to a certain champ card that came out with a certain adorable senpai on it, except with allies.
Except with way worse. You don't get your momentum back.
Fair enough. So I have a feeling that because we saw a couple ally things with the last Dr. Wily, but it didn't seem totally fleshed out. So I'm hoping maybe we see a few more ally cards with this one to get it done. Otherwise, we're going to just have this weird half-done theme for another set.
Hey,
Yeah,
all I
hopefully-
know is I want this character to Hell Dunk, and I just want a Hell Dunk and Hell Dunk and Hell Dunk for
Yeah, that's another one.
days.
If you can make Guts Cannon hit and just do the Guts Cannon combo every turn as well.
True enough. But let's move on to one of the Good Doctor's assets that was revealed at Las
You mean
Vegas.
Foundations?
At Foundation. The mysterious Mr. X. Now I got to do my Mega Man nostalgia thing. This is a reference to his clever, not clever disguise in Mega Man 6, where he masquerades as Mr. X running a Robot Masters tournament. Matches his symbols a 1/4 no block rare foundation, so it's going to be shiny. Once per turn, pitch a card as an enhance. Add 1 foundation from your discard pile to your staging area and destroy it.
Yep. Hey, friend, come here. Kill you.
So
I didn't need you after all.
this card on its own doesn't make a lick of sense. So I'm not going to talk about it much more until we look at the power of dark energy.
Ah.
So this card, 3/4 unique with a +3 mid block, says after it's destroyed, if you have no momentum, add an ally attack from your discard pile to your momentum.
You know what I gotta say about this card, Sean O'Brien?
What do you got to say, Kevin Broberg?
Prepare the Hell Dunks.
So this card has an ability after it's destroyed, which makes the last foundation make a little more sense. That, okay, if I got no momentum, I can discard a card, put my power of dark energy in play, destroy it, and then get your ally card to your momentum, which then you can
you know
use
what
your
I
character to put it into your hand.
You know what I just thought of with this card? Is that
What?
you can actually combine these cards, the Mysterious Mr. X and the Power of Dark Energy, even if you already have a copy of Power of Dark Energy in your staging area.
Unique
'Cause
rule.
You add the second one, then Unique Rule and kill it, and then
Mhm.
it's already dead. Like the second half of Mysterious Mr. X just doesn't do anything, but you can still get the second ability on this card, which is very good as well.
This card also has its own ability that can destroy itself destroy after the ready phase for the rest of this turn. Whenever you play an ally attack, it gets +2 speed, and you may change its zone to any other. So
Make that Guts
far,
Cannon hit.
Hmm?
Make that Guts Cannon hit. Yeah.
so far between the character Mysterious Mr. X and itself, it has 3 ways to destroy itself for its ability. And we'll notice when we go to the next card, Premeditated Attack, which was spoiled before.
Moment.
Oh, do you not have
Those-
I
that?
don't. No, I do have it.
Cool.
It just I don't think it recognized that it was actually there. So give me a moment to bring it back up.
Yeah, so
So
Dr.
I'll use
Wily's
this- Oh, go ahead.
the way Dr. Wily's support, I think, is
There we go.
definitely, with Mysterious Mr. X especially, is just saying, hey, my stuff's gonna do stuff when it dies, and how you kill it is up to you. But when it hits that graveyard, it's going down. It's some cool stuff's gonna happen. So on top of just having this ability, it's really good on its surface. We're talking about how, this is a new direction to say if if your opponent hits you, you have to sacrifice a ready foundation. He also gets more effects on top of those just from having the cards that he built into a staging area.
Mhm.
So Dr.
So
Wily's gonna be really exciting.
Premeditated Attack, this time is a 2/5 with a +3 bed block. And when it gets destroyed, you can look at the top card of your deck and discard it. And then it can destroy itself as a form. Both players pitch a random card and draw a card, and you may add 1 foundation from your hand to your staging area.
Yeah, we talked about this card before, I think, when
Yeah.
it was first previewed. But it makes it a little more. It's a little more exciting now with Mysterious Mr. X added on top of it. Because now this can be, take a peek before you go on. Like, you play an attack, and now you need to check a 5 on that last move to finish him off. Mysterious Mr. X, pitch one of these foundations in your hand that doesn't do anything, and take a peek before you
try to go in.
into that last stack. Yeah, and you can scry to the bottom too with this, right?
No, you just
you discard it.
So, I see a theme starting to come together with Dr. Wily. He likes to destroy his stuff, and 3 of his foundations do stuff after they're destroyed.
He's ruthless.
So that Sasquatch Foundation,
Glacial Assault.
Glacial Assault, playing him off of water, and maybe, just maybe, he'll get that ability again. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine running 4 of each of those off of water, and then running the Raiden one as well, which also has water?
Hey, Matt Hughes, you can run
don't have to
Hizoku
pitch
Prince.
symbols.
No, but the point is you put all these into play, and then you start over.
Ooh, you can play Hizoku Prince too. Does
It's
not die
Hizoku
no matter
Prince.
what.
I thought it says-
Mr. X,
yeah,
pitch a card,
yeah.
build a card. It's like a 6-check.
Oh my
Sobi.
god!
I mean, if you want,
Yeah, that's
there's also that one Wily card from the first set. When it gets destroyed, you add it to your hand.
Boom.
It
Turn
was
anything
Genius
in your
Architect.
hand.
yeah,
turn
just an
anything in your
alchemist.
hand into a
or
Genius Architect.
Yeah.
Transmute.
So that's Dr. Wily. I think we're starting to see a theme come together for him. I can't wait to see what his attacks do.
I love the like these like weird clever things that humans have to do in the Mega Man world, where they get like little bits of speed and damage bonuses. Like Dr. Cossack after you check Foundation +2 damage, but like then you have Gemini Man. That's just this huge dump of speed and damage bonuses.
Donk.
He's a fighting robot. He's built for killing things. But then the human characters do all this crazy tricksy bullshit that you have to make all the pieces fit together. And it's like you're building your own robot. It's really cool.
Ready to move on?
Speaking of random donking robots, Gyro Man.
Gyro Man. Hughes, why don't you take this
Gyro
one?
Man.
All right, he's a 6/26. He has add a card from your hand to your card pool face down, draw 2 cards, and then response after you draw 1 or more cards during any attack, it gets +1 damage for each card drawn. A lot of people are super hyping him, because you could, like, he's really, really cool, but you play him with Cunning and Prideful and Zoe support, and you can clear stuff for value.
Now, I was discussing a solution to this before the show.
Do we want to bring that up now?
Yeah, I'm going to bring that up right now.
Yeah.
We nuke Zoe's support from space and rotate Red Horizon back out. And then we snipe Cunning and Prideful with a ban.
No.
Problem solved.
I think having Cunning and Prideful, and I think that's a fine thing to do. Because it's a turn face down and it's a 1/5 no block.
So you're saying it's
Like-
fine to have in the format or fine to ban?
I think it's fine to have that in the format.
Okay.
I think having too many of these effects, especially the older Zoe ones, which are much stronger, I think that could be a problem.
So we can nuke Zoe.
There's also not Zoe the character. Her support, which ironically the support that works with Gyro Man has nothing to do with the infinite combo you don't like.
Yeah, I got infinite comboed on turn 2 with no counterplay last week. It was super great. I hate Zoe.
You should have played Ava and you draw a revoke. Ava always draws revoke. It's guaranteed. Like her job.
I think it wouldn't have mattered because Ryan Field is a giant luck sack and would have been able to play through the revoke.
Sean O'Brien, you should have played the new Ava, Lady Gaga Ava, with key techniques. Blitz Shuriken would be 0 damage.
Back to Gyro Man.
Gyro Man.
Okay. Yeah.
So people are a little scared of him.
You're the one who went off topic with Zoe. Shut up.
No, Zoe's support with him. That's what we're doing. Like he definitely seems like he's gonna have a support where he does stuff with face downs.
Yeah, so Apple
But-
of the Day is a very interesting card with this guy. You know, you play an attack, you add a face down to draw 2 cards. You play a second attack, now it's on +2 progressive, but then you add a second face down. You've drawn 4 cards this turn. Played 2 attacks. You have what, 8 in hand? No, you have 6 in hand still. So you're like still in hand. But then you form with Apple of the Day, flip it, and add those 2 face downs you put in your pool as a cost into your momentum, and now you have that's an extremely powerful effect. Play 2 attacks at no cost to cards in hand, and then have 2 more momentum to show for it.
That's really good.
All for playing a
Yeah.
2/4 no block.
Yeah, having a 1/5 no block that turns face down just to get the card you put into your card pool back to your hand, that's fine. Being able to do your thing twice and then gain a bunch of momentum in order to play Ice Slasher or some other giant multiple to kill your opponent with, that's a problem. But I like the idea of keeping Cunning and Prideful, because then you could do him off of Evil using Cunning and Prideful and Super Arm, which is discard a face down from your card pool, +2 speed, +2 damage.
You can do that.
So you pop a card in, draw 2, clear it, give it +2/+2, and also another +2 damage with its response.
Yeah, I
So
think
let's move
this
on
this
to
is a
his-
really cool character, and I hate that you guys jumped to banning it and rotate, like doing all this crazy.
I don't
shenanigans.
think he should be banned. I think that with his Zoe support, I think that's a bit too far, because it was kind of clear before with certain things that popped up that they didn't really test certain interactions with Red Horizon. With Gyroman coming out, they very much didn't test interactions with Red Horizon with this set.
I mean, if you're gonna play a bunch
Like
of
there
wonky
there
combo
could be
cards
more
in your-
cards.
If you're playing a bunch of wonky combo cards in your 6 hand size deck that adds progressive difficulty to play the game, like what do you do when you get like you go second, you get Ryujin Kyaku, and you have no stage, you lose your staging area, and you're like, oh man, all my gimmicks don't work because I got my board blown up. Guess I lose. Like,
Well, why don't we move on to the foundation?
Wait, this coming from the person who played a DeForester gimmick deck.
So this foundation,
What's your
unlike
point?
the last foundations, I think adds a lot more questions than answers to this character. Admissions fees is the name of the foundation. 2/5 with a +3 mid block. Little Mega Man trivia for you. After Gyroman took over the floating gardens, Dr. Wily ordered him to collect admissions fees to help pay for his world domination scheme. He's got a nice little tablet too. So this is a unique foundation. With E, add the top card of your deck to your card pool face down to give an attack +2 or -2 speed. Or effectively -1 speed, because you're getting +1 progressive difficulty, unless you have some way to make those face downs go away. The ability I'm excited about, though, is the second one. Our commit. After your opponent draws 2 or more cards due to a non-character effect, you draw 2 cards.
yeah, this card's pretty cool. It does 2 different things. Well, it does a bunch of different things, honestly. Like it fits into all that Zoe stuff we were just talking about. The draw 2 is a really neat little anti-meta thing where if your opponent's going a bit too buck wild with their card draw effects, that's you go crazy with the card draw effects too.
Yeah, I actually like this card. It's a nice anti-Templar card.
Too bad it's on 2
Yeah.
symbols with Templar.
Hey, it's a nice anti-Templar card too. Like they admissions fees in response to your Templar. You're like, oh cool, I'll admissions fees too, and I'll draw 4 cards. Yes, can't hold all of these cards.
What I like is if they half block with your Templar, with their Templar, respond to draw 2, gain 2 when they play the block. You respond with this, draw 2 cards, and then you give +2 more damage.
Oh, with Gyroman, that's nifty. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So it's a slight tiny bit more damage to tack on.
Yes, they only gain 1 off that Templar, so to speak.
It's a little bit of an edge.
It's good value. I mean, I really love the one of the really cool tensions in this character that I think is going to be really, really interesting and really make him really fun to play is that just defensively, your opponent attacks you and you can say, well, I'll take 1 progressive difficulty, put a card in my pool to do whatever effect, either draw 2 with a character or with this admissions fees, -1 speed now, but then you have to deal with that difficulty later as they continue to attack you, and or you have to spend a resource to clear the difficulty out of your pool.
And
It'll be really interesting. Like judging when your opponent's attacks are all going to be unblockable with Jarman, and you just need to dig it through your deck for a revoke or for a throw it down or something where you don't have to block at all, is going to be like it's a really like fascinating, tricky decision to make.
Uh,
He's going to be fun and exciting.
I think also what he also can do is he's similar in degree to Skullman, where if you know your opponent can't kill you if they're just putting out all these tiny moves that you know can't kill them with, you basically are punishing them for poking you because you're just going derp, I don't care, drawing more cards and getting to set up more for killing you next turn.
Well, like you probably don't get to draw above your hand size.
Yeah, you'd have to have three
but-
cards in your hand from the turn before.
So
To
like
get
You still
back-
get-
you're like looting one or two with his ability because
Yeah,
you still would have just had your review step anyway. You're making your
Yeah,
review
you
step better.
You still get the sculpt a lot more.
Yeah, you get some more options, I think. You'll get to see more of your deck, and as Skullman proved, seeing more of your deck is good.
And barring the crazy insanity with the Red Horizon stuff, like say that's not even legal, just sculpting your hand with a Valiant Assault deck can be really strong. Like,
Yeah,
can he shares two symbols with that? Like
You're not wrong, but I mean, like, look at
that's
look at
one of
his-
those where it's I think I want to play with them to
Yeah,
see
okay.
things.
Okay,